So, yeah. So we're ready. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, so hello, I'm Pat.PLDeere with P.L.Deere Studios, and I'm here with my friend Kelly, and I am here to share a little bit about what we're doing with the fundraiser Edible Heart and why she's involved. So for my studio, I have been working on bringing artists and nonprofits together in a way that everybody benefits to support a nonprofit, and this time around it is the Transplant House of Cleveland, which Kelly's affiliated with, and the University of Michigan Cardiovascular Center. This is my brother David behind me. He passed away at 22, so that was another important organization for me. But today it's about Kelly. So Kelly, tell us about you. Who are you?
Well, I am 61 years old. On March the 14th in 2016, I had a heart transplant at the Cleveland Clinic. It's a familial disease in my family. We were all checked for the genetic disorder. My mother passed at the age of 54, just a few days after a heart transplant at the University of Michigan. Obviously in 1990, they were just in the beginning phases of doing transplants. So hers was unsuccessful. My sister passed at the age of 50. She ended up having a stroke and got so bad that she actually couldn't even be put on the transplant list. So my whole life, I was first diagnosed at the age of 16. And since that time, my goal obviously has been to live past the age of 54, which
Right.
My mother was the oldest living female to that date, as her mother and her grandmother also had the disease. And back then, there was nothing. And so they ended up passing, right around 45.
Did
So,
they even know what it was? Did they even know what they had at that time?
I'm not really sure about that. They knew it was a heart ailment.
Okay.
And so, once my mom and my sister, were sick, we decided to get the testing done, the genetic testing done.
Mm-hmm.
Female history, you get bad around the age of 45. And it comes on very quickly. My brother was just diagnosed at the age of 67. And his came on in a different format. His heart thickened in a different spot. So his is just now beginning to affect him. But the way his thickness is, it won't be as bad as what the females have gone through. So, like I said, in 2016, I was lucky enough to have a heart transplant. I was only a year later that I was able to meet my recipient's family or the donor family. They live in Georgia. My heart came from Georgia. I always say, if it came that far to Cleveland, it was meant for me.
Right.
But my donor sister decided that she had lost she'd lost her parents, and this was her last sibling, her brother. I have her brother's heart, and he was her last sibling. And so she decided that she wanted to have something good come out of it. It was a tragedy, and she wanted something good to come out of it. So I was one of the good things to come out of it. We are, we talk daily, text daily. We are like sisters.
And that's
And
unusual, right? Isn't that
it
unusual
is,
in the transplant?
it's very unusual. A lot of, um, a lot of other heart transplant, recipients, they might have a picture
Mhm.
of their donor, but a lot of times their letters are not answered. You can write a letter and it goes to them, but they don't, they don't have to answer it. And in my case, both of us decided to write a letter saying that we were both ready to communicate directly with each other, and then they have to allow us to do that.
Mhm.
So that has been another really bright spot. I mean, God certainly blessed me, and I'm very fortunate.
So let's back up a minute because um, I know that when you went into the hospital, it really wasn't to get a new heart. It just happened that all of the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, right?
Yes, I had to go monthly for a check-in. And I always had to be packed and be prepared to stay, because my disease was progressing and I was not doing well. I was having a hard time breathing, and my heart, was just about wore out. Um, so I went in for a checkup, and they did a heart cath on me, and decided that it was time for me to stay, that I was not good enough to go home any longer. So I went into the hospital on a Friday morning. Sunday evening, about 8 o'clock, the nurse came in and told me that they thought that they had found a heart for me, which is so unusual.
Right.
I mean, you have patients who can stay in the hospital 6 months or greater. And what they do is, like they did with me, they hook you up to medications that help your heart work. But you're basically laying in bed. You're not allowed to get out of bed, because of what your heart might do with the added activities. So yes, I was not supposed to stay at the hospital on Friday, but I did end up getting admitted, and a miracle that on Monday morning I was in surgery getting a new heart. Um,
Yeah.
my surgery only lasted for like 4 hours, which is very unusual. Most patients are in anywhere from 6, 7, 8 hours on up. My doctor told me that my heart was a perfect fit.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's bringing goosebumps back to me because obviously I was there when all of this kind of took place. So
Yes.
it's bringing a lot of emotion back right now. It's unfortunate that this event isn't live because one of my goals was to not only be a fundraising opportunity, but an educational platform and that people could ask you questions. So if anybody is listening to this and has questions, they can leave it in the comments, and I'm sure that you would get back with them and give them some responses as well. But tell me why the Transplant House of Cleveland is important to you.
The transplant house, they are apartments. Um, they are very comfortable. What they do is they are offered at $60 a night, um, for families or for transplant patients. And so my family was able to stay there for, the 6 weeks or whatever that I was there. And then I was also able to then go stay there for the 2 weeks that I had to stay there, because I needed to be close to the hospital for 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
being that I live in Michigan, and Cleveland was 3 hours away, then I needed somewhere to stay. And, you know, a hotel is anywhere from $150 to $200 a night. So I did meet families at the transplant house who were from Arizona.
Mm.
And the daughter needed to stay there because of her medical condition, and they had been there for a year.
Wow.
So you know, some patients really give up a lot. I mean, the mom then got a job in Cleveland to try to help support them.
Mm.
So, but they furnish you everything. There's a kitchenette, and they also have community meals there if you would want to go. They have a get together, so that patients can meet each other, reach out to each other, try to help each other.
Mhm.
But it's really a comfortable, it's a wonderful setting. You know, I can't say enough about it.
So do they offer support services besides the housing, or is the housing their main?
The
Um,
housing is their main, but they do try to do get-togethers and things for you know, just for people to talk.
mhm. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. So the plan is next year, hopefully in February, we will do this again. It will be in person. We'll have an opportunity to have you back and in person and to speak where people can interact and ask questions. And that's really my goal with this, again, to make it a fundraising event and to make it an educational experience. So if anybody has questions, they can leave them in the comments. I'll be sharing this on different social media sites and my email. And also, if they want to make donations to the Transplant House of Cleveland, I'll have that link as well. So is there anything else that you want to share before we kind of tie this up?
I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah, I thank you so much. You are one of the people I wanted to definitely have an interview with. So I'm glad we had the time to do this and that we'll be able to share this. And just thanks for doing this, and thank you for being my friend. I love you.
Yeah. Thanks, Patty.
Okay.